A little over 14 years ago, I got the number one business advice I've ever gotten that, honest to God, okay, Scott's honor, has gone on to make me over $120 million. Over $120 million. That's no joke. Now today, right now, I want to not only give you that advice, but I want to tell you the entire story behind it. See, the word copywriting, it's got a lot of misconception. A lot of people think about it completely wrongly, but not you, not anymore, all right? So in this video, we're going to talk about the number one business advice that'll make you millions of dollars. You ready? Let's get started. All right, so here's the story. Back in high school, all right, I was one of those overachieving students, but not because I was smart. No. I used to just work really hard. I had all these tactics and strategies that I used to get good grades. So I was cruising through my classes. A here, A here, A here, A here. Every class was an A. And I thought, man, I am so, I can do anything. I can make anything work. And then all of a sudden, 11th grade, I hit AP, Advanced Placement Writing. Okay? I had to write. I thought, this is going to be easy. And I'll never forget, my first book report was the first assignment within the first couple of weeks of the class. It was on this book called Pride and Prejudice. All right. So, of course, I didn't read the book. I went and got the movie. And then just hours before it was due, I sat down and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And I thought, this is brilliant. This will be great. And I submitted that. And only a few days later, I get the whole thing marked with red everywhere. D-. And I thought, oh my God, what the heck just happened? Did I, Anik Singal, just get a D-? So, of course, I went to the teacher. I said, there has to have been a mistake. Something's wrong. And what my dad got upset, called in for parent-teacher conferences. And before you knew it, it was crazy, okay? I was in that class every lunch trying to learn. But the problem was this. I hated writing. I didn't see the point. I didn't see the purpose. I didn't really get it. Who cares? Right? I wanted to be a doctor at that time. So the only thing I was going to write were prescriptions. So I thought, what does this matter? But I needed to get my grade up because if I wanted to go to a great medical school, I had to have a great GPA. That was the only reason I was showing up at lunch. I didn't care to learn to write. I didn't care to learn to absorb the topic, to really relate to it. So over time, I drove my teacher crazy. And I think back today and I feel bad for her because I know exactly what myself and my family did to her. And one day, I think she reached the pinnacle of her frustration, and she said something to me, which was a very interesting, subconscious, pivotal point of my life, I guess. She said to me, Anik, please don't ever write for a living. You're really bad. And, imagine a teacher saying that to someone, right? So I remember hearing that and thinking, A, I don't really care, so okay, but B, I'm not good at other people telling me what I can and cannot do. So I think subconsciously, somewhere, that set me on this stage to go off and become a writer, right? But till this day, I'm not a punctuation or a grammar writer. Listen, I just write. I write a flow. I'm a copywriter. Or I'm not an editor. I'm a copywriter. So after that, I went off to college, and I quickly realized I didn't like, by the way, I ended up getting a B- in the class. It was the hardest work class for a B-. So I went to college and I quickly realized I didn't like this whole pre-medical profession, this whole line of pre-medicine. So next thing I know, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to switch over to business school. Next thing I know, I'm online looking for ways to start a business. I wanted to do. I didn't want to just learn. I wanted to have a business. And what do I need to do? All of a sudden, I discover I need to write a sales page. I need to write my first information product that I'm going to sell on the internet. All of a sudden, write came up in my life. And I'll tell you, I was pretty good about it. I didn't let the baggage from the past really hold me back. I just started to do. But the problem is, my first product I ever created wouldn't sell. It just wouldn't sell. I tried everything I could. Now, after having spent months and months and months of failing, I was failing at business, left, right, and center. You can imagine, that was pretty debilitating. Right here at the heart, right here, it hurt. And so finally, somebody on this forum said, hey, your product, I think I have the perfect fit, the perfect person who could promote for you and get you some sales. You want to meet them? I said, yeah, of course, I'd love to. So they introduced me, and very quickly, this person replies and says, sorry, kid, it's not a good fit. My audience is different. And I thought, well, it was worth a shot. 2 days later, the same person writes back to me and he says, by the way, who wrote this sales page? And I thought, oh no, not again. I'm going to get completely chewed out for my horrible writing. So I responded very defensively. I thought, well, And he writes back. He says, no, no, no. I love it. There's a lot of room to grow, but I think you've got potential. I thought, this guy must be off his noggin. He must be crazy. Didn't he just say I have a potential to be able to write? And he says, do you want to work with me as my intern? I'll teach you how to write. And I thought, dude, no way, Jose. I don't want nothing to do with this. Nothing. He offered to pay me. I was a broke college kid. Offered to pay me, and I said, no, I don't want to write. No, I just want to be an online entrepreneur. So he kept trying. He wouldn't give up on me. All right, he wouldn't give up on me. One day he calls me, and he says, look, kid, I need to tell you something. The number one skill. You ready? This is the advice, by the way. You need to write this down or something, because this was the advice that changed my life. He said the number one skill that any successful business person must have is to be able to sell through the art of the written word. Let me repeat that. The number one skill that any business person must have is the ability to sell through the art of the written word. The number one skill that every business person must have is the ability to sell through the art of the written word. Now, I remember those words looping in my mind over and over, and I thought, wow, that sounds so wise, so profound, but yet I don't have a freaking clue what it means, right? After that, he offered me a free trip. He said, I want you to come down here to Delray Beach. There's an event going on. I'll pay for you to come out. All right, I'll pay for you to come out. And I will show you the importance of this. I'll prove it to you. For me, back then, I thought, wow, a free trip to Florida. I'm not going to say no. So I went down there. I expected to walk into a room full of writers, sipping their teas with their pinkies out in their little cups. And I walk in, and it's like normal people, right? Rad, cool, fun people. And all of a sudden, someone walks on the stage. And I thought I recognized the name, and his name was Michael Masterson. Yeah, also known as Mark Ford. And the person who had been mentoring and teaching, or had been trying to mentor me, who went on to teach me everything I knew about writing great, powerful copy, his name was Justin Ford. Found out he was his younger brother. Michael Masterson, for those of you who don't know, is arguably one of the world's most profound, the most successful, the best direct marketing copywriter to have ever lived. He's sold billions of dollars worth of products. All right? And his younger brother was now teaching me how to write copy. That was the day my life changed. And through that event, at that event, I learned the purpose of writing. And I fell in love with the idea. And I knew why I had to improve my writing. See, words, especially for copywriting, words represent you or your client. Words represent you when you aren't there to represent yourself. See, words have to be able to give a vivid picture. They have to be able to deliver concretely a message when you're not there. So imagine, when you write bad words, when you don't have good flow, when you don't have good narrative, the problem is you represent yourself or your client poorly. That's why writing is so important. And that was the biggest pivotal point for me at that event, is I learned the purpose of writing. And I learned why copywriting was important. And that's exactly what you're going to do here in the Copywriting BootCamp. That's exactly what you're going to do here. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited, by the way, that you're here. I'm telling you right now, this is my life's mission. This, I always say, is my legacy. I want to leave the world being known as the guy who taught people the new way of writing copy. Because, you know what? The way it was done 20 years ago, dead. It's gone. All right, we're going to talk about that in the upcoming videos. It is gone. You need to learn the new way. Now, it took me years and years of hardship and pain to discover it, but I will be bringing it right to you on a silver platter. All right? So the number one business advice I ever got that led to over $120 million in sales was that every successful business person must have the ability to sell through the art of the written word. And after this program, and especially after you join Copywriting Academy and you become certified through the Academy, you are going to have mastered that skill, all right? So you ready to keep moving forward? Let's do it.